And we going in. We gonna stay on day next. We're going in about esoterics. And I'm a Prince Hall Freemason, but none of the stuff that I speak about represents Prince Hall, uh, how they view Freemasonry or anything. These are all my own talking points, my own ideas. None of these topics really represent any of the orders I may belong to. These again are just my own thoughts, my own ideas, my own videos I'm posting for uh, just because I need to get this perspective out there. It's missing, and I need to fill that void. I feel like, man, that's a beautiful classic car out there. That's a GT. I think that's a GTO. That's blue. It's beautiful. Anyway, it's a beautiful day. Man, it's beautiful outside today. All right. I'm enjoying this sun, man. Blessing my melanin, my skin, and then I get vitamin D. Yes. So like I was saying, there's a lot of Prince Hall Masons that are on my same kind of timing, my same tip, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of other black scholars that are on my same kind of timing and my same kind of tip also. And, it's a small percentage, it's not the majority. Um, you know, I, and that's something I liked about, the 5%. They tell you it's 5%. So you always gonna feel outnumbered. You always gonna feel like you got less friends in the room than or you got less friends in the room than enemies. You got more enemies in the room. It's 5%. That's only 5 out of 100. There's 100 people in the room. Only 5 of you is the righteous, right? So that's a lot more enemies. So you're always gonna feel outnumbered. You know what I mean? We gotta talk about that. You're always gonna feel outnumbered, but that's okay. That's why I feel these things were named that. That's why it's been named the 5%. So it keeps in your mind. It keeps telling you, hey, you're gonna feel that way. It's all right. That's part of the journey. That's how it's supposed to feel. That's what you're doing it right. You know what I mean? And people are gonna come at you when you talking the truth, because people have for so long uh, uh, gone with ideas and things that may have not been the truth or truthful, but because it provides them with some type of benefit, they'll go along with it. And so I'm not here to do any of that going along stuff. Um, I'm surrounded by people that go along, and they don't even know that they're going along, and they try to convince me to go along with them, and I'm like, man, I can't go with you. I got my own road. Everybody's got their own road, and everybody's got their own part and position to play, right? So I got to play my part and play my position. I feel I have a different perspective than a lot of people around me. You know what I mean? Not to say that I feel special or anything, but I just feel I have like a sight that fraternal people, for people in fraternal organizations, it's like they've been trained to get on and go along, and that's how they were set up. A lot of these collegiate fraternities were set up in like the late 1800s, early 1900s, like right after slavery ended. Slavery ended in 1865, right? So you got to look at some of these black collegiate fraternities, right? Some of them started before 1900. It's like, how you go from 300-400 years of slavery, to getting emancipated, and then they didn't even want to tell you guys down in the South that you were free, which is why we got Juneteenth, which is today. You know, they had to go tell them down in the South, hey, y'all been free for a couple years, but they was getting that free work still, so, and that free benefit still. So it's like, man, and that's the whole thing about why I wanted to kind of create this too, is because it's so hard, to learn esoterics and discuss occultism from the descendants of people who were your enemies, essentially. These people are my enemies. Why are they going to be, they came to our land, stole our knowledge, took our knowledge, and now their descendants have it, and now they want to teach it back to us? Man, it just doesn't feel right. I'm trying to go learn about Egyptian stuff and occultism and Egyptian. All this stuff is going back to Egypt, whether we're Rosicrucian, whether we're Templars, whether we're Gnostic. It all goes back to Egypt. Like, man, whether you're OTO or Golden Dawn, it all touches on Egypt at some point in some place in time in history. So it's like, man, but these people teaching it aren't Egyptians. You know what I mean? The only place you had was the Ptolemies for 200 years when it was down there during like the 19th dynasty. You know what I mean? It was the 19th dynasty. Europeans didn't even start writing until Egypt was in its 14th dynasty. Homer wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey. Egypt was already in its 14th dynasty. Some dynasties lasted 1,000 years. So, I mean, like, come on. They had mad pharaohs in their dynasties, some of them. So, these are a lot of time. We have the dynastic period is 3,000 years of Egypt, and then before that we had the pre-dynastic period, which is Nubia, and then before that we had Ethiopia, which is like, you know, the beginning of the Nile River, which is where, you know, the Great Lakes region where we all started from. So, saying all that to say this, basically everything traces back to the black people, the original people of planet Earth, and along the Nile, and all the way back to Africa. And so I wanted to create this channel, have this space, have this time where black people like myself who are interested into occultism, who are interested into these certain type of mystical rites or rites of passage, and just don't necessarily want to go through the European type of style. You know what I mean? Because it's like, man, they took over the world, and now, you know what I mean, we're going to get into it, but the history of the Western occultism goes back to, you know, the Theosophical Society and Madame Helena P. Blavatsky. And she had a big influence on what the Western occult tradition is today in the West. And she was a racist. She was super racist. She hated black people. She was the one, and the reason why that whole Aryan stuff came about was from Blavatsky. It's from her, and the reason why the Aryans, you know, go on into Hitler and all that stuff is coming out of her teachings from the Aryans. But they didn't know, and she didn't know, that originally the Aryans was black royalty. And they had usurped the name once they came down from the south. See, the invaders always came from the north. The invaders always came from the north. And you'll notice that because that's where the Neanderthals came from. They come from Siberia. You can trace that through the haplogroups and genetics now. We know in Siberia up in there, that was the Q haplogroup. And we know that the R1A and R1B, which was predominantly over 50% of the males in all of Europe, are R1A or R1B, come from that Q haplogroup. The Q haplogroup originates in Siberia. That's up in that where the Neanderthals come from and existed and were at. And so they were the invaders that came from the north. You know, they came from the north down in through the Caucasus. They came from the north down through all that Turkmenistan and all, you know, farther east. Kazakhstan and all that, you know, under Russia. They came down from the north over there towards India. They came down through the Himalayas, and they came into India and subjugated those people. So they were always the same people from the north. It was always the invaders from the north, the light-skinned Neanderthal type invaders from the north, and that's where you get the mating so much, and why we have everybody in that region kind of light-skinned, because of the mating from them people from the north coming down. That's where you get the Persians from. That's where you get the Turkic people from, the Tajiks. That's why the Tajiks got blonde hair and blue eyes. They're Turkic Mongols. That's where white people come from. So these are nomadic peoples originally, you know, that were nomadic barbarians that came, you know, all across Europe. They came from, you know, came down and through, you know, from North Siberia all the way down through Europe. So in knowing this history, how you know, they came and conquered and kind of stole our knowledge, it just, again, doesn't feel right to have them kind of, their descendants sitting here trying to teach us what ethics and morals are and how we need to act to be, you know, accepted into their society. And I'm like, man, F that. Like, they don't get to conquer the world and then now try to take over all the religions, and because they usurped all the Abrahamic religions. All the Abrahamic religions were started by black people. We're going to get into that one too. From Christianity starting in Africa, from Judaism starting in Africa, from Islam was created from Judaism. You know what I mean? You got to go take it back. That Judaism, the Jews that started in Africa. The Limbas down in South Africa have the haplogroup, and they say they were the Levites. You know what I mean? It's still the same people. They exist today. So it's like, and you have groups all over Africa that say that they were, you know, in that area. Canaan come from that territory, that area. In Ghana, you got people in Nigeria, you got people in South Africa like the Limbas, Malawi, all over. You have different groups that claim that they came from that area. You know what I mean? Not all the groups are Africa, but some of them do, and it would make sense because they kept the customs. And so even when you go around Africa today, you see there's Jewish African groups still in existence today that live right next to the Bantus. They still live in the same communities. These are the same people. They have different customs. That's why they can live right next to each other. This is why in the story in the Bible you see that Jesus and Joseph or whatever, they could go into Egypt and hide. Why? Because they look like the same people. They were the same people. The only way you could tell them different was if they were practicing and showing you that they were practicing their different customs and cultures. Were they wearing the fringes? Were they practicing the this or that? If they weren't practicing that, then the Egyptians didn't know they were Hebrews or Jewish or Jews. You know what I mean? They were the same people, the same black people. They lived right next to each other, as they still do today. Man, so it gets deep. So we're going into all of that. We're going to take everything. We're going to take this occultism from Rosicrucianism. We're going to take it all the way back to the root, all the way back to Africa. We're going to strip it down at the Eurocentric ideas, the Eurocentric ways, and we're going to put the black man at top. We're going to put the black family on top. We're going to put the black, because the black man is what it is. Seed is a seed, so I'm going to pass it on down. My seeds are black men. They're going to be seen in this world as black men. So that's what it is. They're going to be raised as black men. And they're going to know it. They're going to act as black men. They're going to act as black kings and black gods. So this is what we're going to teach our kids. This is what we're going to strip down that European BS. We're going to strip it down. We're going to take it to the root. We're going to keep it real root. Still drinking my coffee. And beautiful day. Look at this beautiful day out here. Not a cloud in the sky. Anyways, oh man, it's a beautiful day. We're about to get to it. Happy Father's Day. Happy Juneteenth. Father's Day is Juneteenth. All the fathers out there that are still here, all the fathers that are no longer with us, happy Father's Day. All the grandfathers, happy Father's Day and happy Juneteenth. This is 2022, and we still getting it in. We're still gonna be teaching, because that's the duty. You know, we teaching to everybody. So that's what we got to do. So we're gonna strip it back. I don't want to make this video too long. It's getting 12 minutes now, so yeah, that's basically it. Just gearing you up and getting you ready for what we're going to be doing on this channel moving forward. I'm Frater RR. That's Rosam Resurgam. You can look that up in Latin if you want to. You know, I might be changing that too. I might be taking something else. I'll take it from that Latin to take it back to Egyptian. You know what I mean? So I can take it back to the roots. See, I'm going through the process too. So I'm gonna be going through the process too with you as we're evolving. We're going through it. We're gonna do it. Yeah, and we're gonna have study groups. I'm gonna kick these study groups off on Zoom weekly. We're gonna do these study groups. This first one coming up here, we're just gonna try to just get the group together, kind of get the people together, kind of get a little introductions going on, introduce each other, introduce our backgrounds, what we've studied. Like for me, I was born, raised Christian, devout Christian, in the church every Sunday, Sunday school, Bible study on Wednesdays, that type, all my life. Until I got to the point when I was in high school and I was like, started, my mind was developing, my brain was developed. I started asking questions. I wanted to start researching Jesus. So I started researching Jesus. And I got into Judaism, you know what I mean? Because I was like, well, Jesus is a Jew. And I started really, you know what I mean? I kind of went over that way, started studying Judaism and really getting into Jewish and Judaism, the Torah, the Pentateuch, which is the Old Testament for the Christians. But I really wanted to dive in because I was really seeking. You know what I mean? I wanted to seek and I wanted stuff to make sense. I want the truth. So I was really diving in deep. I was, got past the point of where people could just tell me things. I wanted to see for myself and know for myself. So, because I was like 16 then. So, I say by the time I graduated high school, got out of high school, about 18, I was really studying. I started with Melchizedek, the first prophet, priest, and king mentioned in the Bible. And I went through the Bible and I went through all the Judaism stuff all the way. And then I got to a point in history where Islam and Judaism was like one and the same. They were like together. And they shared a lot of the same stuff and they shared a lot of the same beliefs and they were kind of like together. And what it was is like political beefs that split them up. But anyways, so I started studying Islam because I was like, damn, well, they were together. I started studying Islam and I started studying Islam all the way to, it took me to African people, the Tasawwuf, which was the name before it became Islam is known today. The Tasawwuf is the African term for it. You know what I mean? That's the African. That's what they say. The Prophet Muhammad was a Sabian. Now the Sabians, what they practice is considered a form of African tradition mixed with what is, now today considered Arabic Islam. It's like a mix of the two, but it was the precursor to what is the modern day Islam now. So the Tasawwuf, that's the African stuff. It had more African stuff mixed into it. It wasn't just so Arabic, like you have just the modern day Arabic Islam today. So they had a lot of African in it. And he was a Sabian. You can research this. You can look up the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He was a Sabian. And these were more Afrocentric type dealings. And even the Kaaba and stuff like that, they had hundreds of gods there that people from all the tribes around used to go worship. You know what I mean? The Kaaba was there before they changed it to the single representation for Allah. But anyway, so saying a lot. I have a lot in me. I have a lot to get out, but that's what we're gonna get through. So maybe I need to start writing notes, having some kind of like table of contents or list I can go through a little bit better instead of just stream of consciousness from the mind, because I got a lot in me. So anyway, that's what it is. Yeah, I studied all the way till it took me back to the people of the Nile, and that's where it is. So it's like all this later stuff is like, why do I want to study from the Greeks, or why do I want to study from the Italians or the Romans? Why do I want to study from these people when they studied from the Egyptians, who are my people? I still got the black skin. Look at that. I still got the woolly hair. Look at that. Like the priests. Read Leviticus 21:5. Shall not make baldness upon their head. Yeah, that's the priests. So again. The Levites, the Limbas, which I took my genetic test. I got Limba in me too. That's the Levites they say in South Africa. Man, I love this shit. I love all the new scientific and genetic stuff that they're coming out with, because it just proves the black man is God. So I love it. And so that's what we're doing. You took me all the way back to the Nile, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to take this knowledge all the way back to the Nile and teach from there. You know what I mean? And pass it down. We're taking all this Ptolemies out, the Greeks out, blah, blah, blah. If it ain't black, it ain't going to be there. You know what I mean? So it's all going to be black, 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 blackity black. If you don't like it, you ain't got to come. You ain't got to be involved. You don't have to know we exist, tune in, pay attention, or none of that. So, you know, but we gonna get it in. I can't wait. I'm excited. Sitting here in this beautiful sun, soaking it up. Look at it, little sweat on my head, but it's good. The sun's blessing me. That's creating all the forces in nature right now. From the sun, it's blessing me. I got that fire. I got the water. I got the air. I got my intelligence. That's the ether. It's connected to the sun. You know, man. I got my bones. That's the earth. It's all me. You know what I mean? And it's all you. And that's what we're gonna get back to, because it's understanding. This is the knowledge of self. It's understanding what you're seeking for is inside of you. And so that's all we got to get back to. Once you get the knowledge, once you understand, you can't lose it. You know what I mean? It's not like you got to do these secret rituals every time to understand. No, no, you got it. Once you got it, you got it. No one can take it from you. You have free travel to Mecca anytime you want. That's right. So where was Allah born? He was born in the mind. That's right. So that's where we travel to Mecca. That's where he was born, in the mind. So we travel anytime I want, any day, anytime. I got free travel forever because I understand. Understanding is the best part, and that's where I live ever since I made it for who? Myself. That's right. So this is what we do. We walk through the lessons. We're going to take it back to the root. We're going to teach the original man. We're going to teach the original family, and we're going to keep it peace. I'm going to talk to y'all later. It's been 20 minutes. That's good enough. I love y'all. Peace. Have a blessed day. Happy Father's Day. Happy Juneteenth. Not a cloud in the sky. Beautiful day. Love y'all. Peace.